Yes, for a heads up.
Answer not went back.
Yes.
I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, September 21st tree board meeting. We'll start with a roll call. Marge Sagstetter,
Here?
Glenn Giacoletto,
Here?
Dan Karwoski is not here. Dallas Pearson is not here yet. Mike Sarla,
Here?
Kathy Schreifels.
Here.
Also present, we have Loren Coda, our staff liaison, and we have Deb Mueller, our what do you call it? Master Gardener liaison. I am Nick Cantula, I'm the chair. I am also present. Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. Did everybody have a chance to go over to the minutes from our June 15th meeting? Do we have any addendums that need to be made, any adjustments that need to be made to that?
No, nothing for me.
Hearing none, then I would look for a motion to approve those minutes as recorded.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I second.
All right, all in favor of approving the minutes? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Open forum.
I do have one item, if I could.
Yeah, Marge.
There's a initiative, I'm not sure if it's all across the metro, but in Washington County for sure, for tree seed collecting. I got involved through the Master Gardeners, but it's open to people from all areas that are interested in trees and collecting seeds. There's actually, it's a paid type thing. You can get paid for your seed collecting. They're looking for specific seeds from specific trees. There's some training. I've got all kinds of information. If anyone's interested out there, feel free to contact me and I'll put you in connection with people who are organizing this. The seeds are getting collected here locally and then they're going to nurseries further north to be planted and grown. So it's an initiative, I think, to take native species and then we can be like citizen scientists, so to speak, and help the nurseries get the seeds that they need. Anyway, so there's a whole bunch of information. It was a little overwhelming. I don't know, Deb, if you attended this training, but it's quite, there's a lot of effort that'll take, I think, to know your trees, know your seeds, and then how to get viable seeds. But it's just something that's out there, and I thought it was interesting and should be shared here.
What kind of species are they looking for?
Well, yellow birch, red oak, white pine, basswood are some of them. I'm doing the Kentucky coffee tree thing, but they specifically didn't want Kentucky coffee trees for some reason. But so there's very specific on the actual, like yellow birch, not a paper birch or a river birch. But anyway, so I've got some information, and then they actually have pretty informative, very detailed training. So it'd be an outdoor thing if people are interested, when to collect acorns, find out if they float, if they're viable, blah, blah. Okay?
I would add on to that, if, for the public out there watching this, if you have trouble finding Board Member Marge, I'm the city forester, I'm on the city webpage, I'm at Public Works Department. You can reach out to me via email or phone, and I can get you in touch with Marge.
Thank you, Loren. Anyway, interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Marge. Do any of the other board members have any updates on the record? Okay, then on to new business. Up first, we wanted to talk about Jane Klein Memorial. Loren, did you have updates? This is updates regarding other groups. Did you have something for us, or did Marge?
So,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
I'm hoping Marge does, but the only thing, I have not checked with city council at all, but I presume if we name anything after her, it probably has to go through city council, but I don't know that for sure. But we'll just pretend like it does, and,
Sure.
and we can always step back from that if, you know, they don't need to vote on it, so.
Okay, and I can update everybody on some efforts. There were a lot of different efforts going on in the community, and so Colleen Swedberg, I think I'm saying her last name right, council member, had volunteered to kind of coordinate and organize everybody. So there's been a couple of phone calls. In fact, one is right after this meeting. So I don't think we have all the final details yet, but we do know there's going to be a memorial tree and bench put into Eastside Park, and that the individuals from the community are paying for these. And then the park, Bethke Park, I guess, has a native planting, and it was agreed and requested that they name that native planting the Jane Klein Memorial Garden. And then I think there may be some other efforts going on by garden clubs, and I think, Deb, we're going to be naming, the Master Gardeners would like to name the new seed library that's getting developed at the Discovery Center for Jane. She and Deb initiated it. It's going to get rolled out, I think, by spring. Is that correct? Yes. So that will also be named after her. So anyway, those are the efforts that I'm aware of right now. And then there will be a collection, I think, at City Hall towards the bench and the tree, any plaques that are needed. But I think we're waiting to figure out the logistics of, you know, if individuals want to donate. So that's what I know so far. And January, I guess, the collection probably will go on all winter. And then they'll do this next spring.
As long
Okay.
as you brought up Bethke Park and the native prairie planting there, I should add, so I'm trying to get that burned. It hasn't been burned for as long as I've been here, which is 12 years. So we have, what is it, Minnesota native prairies?
Prairie Restoration?
Prairie Restoration. We have Prairie Restoration burning Tartan Crossing, 11th and Hadley, that three-tier pond system. They weren't prepared to burn it this spring, but I did get them out there to look at it. I'm trying to get it on the same schedule with that. But so they said they are gonna either try to burn it this fall, which is coming up here shortly, or if they don't get it burned this fall, they'll burn it next spring, and then we'll be on the same schedule as the Tartan Crossing burning. So every 4 to 7 years, that prairie should be getting burned, so.
Great.
Excellent. Well, we had been talking kind of amongst ourselves on the group email about how we wanted to remember Jane for the work that she did for this community. And it sounds like that's going to happen, which is great. We had mentioned maybe naming the spring planting after Jane, or I'd mentioned that, and that was well received. Is that something we as a group are interested in doing still?
Should we have a motion on that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And then if we have to step back from city council doing anything, we can. That won't be a problem.
Should we move to recommend naming
Yes,
it?
Yes, yep.
So,
And then the city council will bring it to a workshop and discuss it, and then they will bring it to a vote. So it's not gonna happen overnight, but, yeah.
well, we've got several months before the spring planting, so.
Right.
It's okay.
And this was also brought up in the August Parks and Recreation Board meeting. And I think the meeting is at 7 o'clock tonight for September, so it'll probably be brought up again, and I can tell them what we talked about here right
Awesome.
now also.
Thank you, Glenn.
So we need a
Need
motion.
a motion. Would anybody be willing to make a motion to recommend renaming the spring planting to the Jane Klein Memorial Spring Planting?
I'll go ahead and recommend that we change our spring planting or rename it to the Jane Klein Memorial Spring Planting Event.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Right, the motion to recommend renaming the spring planting to the Jane Klein Memorial Spring Planting carries. Next up under new business would be a master gardener report. Update on spring participation.
As of now, everything is up and running again. All projects are a go.
Okay, so we can assume we'll have support for spring planting, tree giveaway, all that kind of stuff?
Yep.
Wonderful.
That was my main goal for that on the agenda, was just so we have an idea about moving forward on all our volunteers, and so excellent.
Awesome. All right, then Loren, do you want to give us some updates under Section 7 Old Business, starting with Arbor Day 2022?
Sure, so what we need to do tonight is pick trees, and, you know, if you don't pick them all, that's fine, I can always pick some myself. I have developed a list, but it was pretty long, so I didn't put it in the packet, but I emailed it to you all. And hopefully this is the availability at Bailey's. Bailey's is always the cheapest. We try to keep the costs down. In the past, we've had it anywhere, well, it used to be about $20, but with prices are rising, and so, I mean, if we keep any individual tree around $25 to $30, we can still fit it in the budget and still have enough money for spring planting plants and all that. Sometimes they're cheaper, you know, some of them are $18, $19, and some of them will be $35, so if we just try to hover around that $25 per tree mark, we should be just fine. And like I said, if you don't pick them all, I can always try to pick some on my own. I do need to get the order in quick. So, yeah, there didn't seem to be a whole lot out there today. I mean, at this time, it was kind of sparse on the fruit. And on one of the suggestions was the red cedar. It was kind of sparse on the red cedars. Eastern red cedar, they did have some other varieties, and they're smaller, you know, good under power lines or the corner of your house, next to the eave, that kind of thing. Everything in that list I can get behind, and some of them, like, you were interested in shrubs as well. So, you know, I mean, it's a tree giveaway, but I can get behind shrubs that are gonna be a screen for people instead of buying buckthorn.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Can
I
you
have
still buy
reasons.
buckthorn?
I have reasons why I can get behind everything that I sent out to you, so feel free to choose from any of it.
Lauren, I'd like to comment that, you know, I've been working at the farmer's market a couple times now this summer already, and nice comments from homeowners in Oakdale asking for shrubs or smaller trees for their lots. They're getting full.
Yeah.
So I like that you included that, and I think they were great choices. I'd have a hard time choosing
Yeah.
between, you know, if we have one shrub in there with the trees. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they're all gone
Yeah.
quickly, so.
So what if kind of to, like, please the most people, we were to select like a shade tree, like a big shade tree, a smaller tree, some kind of evergreen, and then a shrub? Just so there's a variety of stuff.
Especially without the fruit being so limited, I was struggling trying to figure out if, we would have to almost order 2 different things to get enough volume, I think, to have something, a fruiting tree. Because they were all such low volumes on your list.
And all of the fruit trees, like like there's like at least one malus that I saw, but there were a lot of prunus genus. Like, I don't know if we want to just give people black knot.
Right.
Right.
I mean, the triple play splayed tree, there was plenty of those, but that's kind of a funky tree for certain situations. I mean, we have planted triple plays in the past, but they were clumps, 3 stems, so, I mean.
I certainly could get behind Nick's suggestion of the 4 type species,
I agree.
to help, So we have a variety to offer. I'd be willing to tell you just kind of my thoughts. I went through that list and there were many trees they were all looking so good. I'm like, it's hard to narrow it down, but the blue beech especially, I have good luck with that in my own yard. And that's a nice mid-sized tree. The viburnum, I think, is just a beautiful spring, blooming. And then on the shrubs all looked pretty good to me. Serviceberry, chokeberry. Oh, the autumn brilliance, I think it was Regent Serviceberry, was it? That had some beautiful fall color. Those were kind of my choices. And then I'm a firm believer in river birch. It grows so fast and it's so beautiful. But I do hear complaints from people about the sticks. And I have one in my yard, so I know that they drop their sticks quite often. They're self-pruning, if you think of it that way. But it's so fast-growing. It's a nice big tree. And then hackberry, I don't know if that was mentioned, as a larger selection, also for autumn color. So beautiful. So those are just some of my ideas from what I saw. Good list, though. Loren, thank you.
Does anybody else have strong opinions one way or the other on what we should be recommending?
I was surprised to actually see a cherry tree. I didn't know any of them would survive in this climate.
And neither of I think there may be 2 cherries in there, and neither, I don't think, if I remember correctly, neither of them are gonna be real sweet eating cherries, more like pie cherries. So,
And then there's the apricot,
yeah.
which is also a cherry.
Good to learn. I love learning.
And the apricot is a sweet apricot.
Yeah. There were only 26 of that Masabi cherry that was listed available. And then I
right.
think 95 of the apricot, because I thought, well, maybe we could get 2 of those. But then
Right.
it's the whole distribution thing. If we run out of 26, better to just order some of these higher volume ones, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah, American cranberry for a large shrub. That's a really cool, beautiful shrub.
I really like those red osier dogwoods. I think
The
those are very pretty.
dogwood, yeah.
In the right spot, those are great.
Can't beat it. The deer really like them, though, I've had.
Yeah.
It's another issue for the last farmer's market. I heard a lot of comments about deer in
That is
in the
promotes
city.
wildlife.
Right, promotes wildlife.
Promotes
Feeds
wildlife.
your wildlife, essentially. Okay. Is that good on the tree?
So, yeah, I think so. My only question would be to, do you want me to pick from your choices, or on the shrubs, would you like to narrow shrubs down now? If you,
Did you
like,
have any, Nick?
I mean, if we leave it open to where we're at right now, I love the blue beech. I think we need more of them in the city, so I'm gonna try to order them.
Okay.
The viburnum, I didn't write it down. Did you have 1 species involved on that viburnum?
I think it was a nannyberry.
Yeah, there's the nannyberry viburnum at the very end. The tree form.
Tree form, okay.
Right, that was a tree form. And that's a little bigger. Then my next choice was the American cranberry, but that's a bigger, like bush, bushier. So they're kind of two different forms of shrubs.
Do we want to try to get an evergreen in there though? Because
Yeah,
that's been.
I do think we need an
I don't think we
evergreen.
did an evergreen last year, did we?
No,
No.
we didn't.
Which I think people were not so happy about
Yeah.
because some people love evergreens.
I didn't have an evergreen selection. I don't know those that as well.
That's where I'm gonna fail, is on the evergreen, because, well, I don't know. Let me
Yeah. how would
refresh
you,
my
Nick,
memory here
you-
real quick.
Well, we were gonna do a spruce variety last year, right? And they didn't have them.
Correct. I
Yeah,
tried to get a fir and they didn't have
that's right. It was a fir
Mm-hmm.
that they didn't have. It was a AB's concolor was what we were gonna do.
Yes.
Yes.
And I was hoping there was gonna be a true eastern red cedar in here, which was gonna be my pick, but it's just not. So,
Well, I think if we could do some kind of like true juniper, a juniperus, as opposed to like a white cedar, like a thuya, I think that'd be better. I feel
okay,
like, I feel like,
there's winter kill and
yeah, well, I feel like
whatnot.
thuyas are crazy overrepresented in the city's urban forest as it is.
Okay,
Maybe I'm off base, but that's how I see it.
Okay.
But like that Medora juniper, I think would be a decent choice. That's not gonna be huge.
okay. I'm good with that,
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I had
if
that
there's no
down.
other objections.
Yeah, they had 1,000 of them too.
And that comes in a number 5 container as opposed to like the U that's in there, that's a number 3.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I will probably over-order because they always change the orders on me. So I'm probably gonna order almost everything we have on here and then back off as
We can figure it out as we
we
get
get
closer.
closer to
Okay.
spring and they start changing my order, and then I'll still have stuff on the list, so, excellent.
Thank you.
I think we're good with all that.
Watering bags.
So, it was brought up in the past about, and I have not talked to City Hall about this yet, but I don't think they'll have a problem with it. And, so I don't have a good watering bag for under the evergreens. They do make them. I haven't found a good price on it yet, but if we, the gator bags are like the best thing out there for trees. So, and I can, if I buy at least 60 of them, I mean, I get a great price on them. And so even, I mean, it's just a matter of logistics, working with City Hall to take the money, which shouldn't be a problem. And I'm just briefly here trying to find my notes on it, but yeah, so I can get them for $16 a piece if I order at least 60. We only need 150 because of the evergreen, and not everybody's gonna buy one, so like maybe 100, or do you think more than 100?
I think after this year, a lot more people are going to be interested maybe than
Yeah.
might have in the past.
So do you think I need to buy
So,
150?
Well, I think at least 100. And then, even for pricing then, if you just priced them at $20 and made it easy for people to buy, $20 bill, you get
And
this and
I
it's going to.
don't think we're allowed to make
Oh, we
money on
can't.
it.
Oh, okay, so it has to be exactly the price,
I
plus
don't-
tax or
And I
something.
don't know if we can get a square car reader or something for out there
Sure.
on site, possibly. I don't know, I'll have to be checking into it, but if
Right.
it comes down to it, I'm just gonna have a big stack of $1 bills.
Sure, okay. Well, I would vote for at least 100 to 150. How many do you need for the city? I guess that was one question, because I saw you put them out like midsummer this year.
So, yeah, we don't need any. We still
have
have
enough.
some from our last purchase. And And if all goes well with some other things that I'm working on, we will have enough for replanting all the boulevard trees that are gonna have to get removed soon from emerald ash borer. So I don't think we need any as Public Works at this time.
Question, are we planning on doing the tree giveaway the same way as we did this year?
Yes.
Could we, the lottery online, could we tag the bags on that?
Yeah, you're right, and they could even prepay.
But no.
Right? They could, you could order it ahead of time, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We might need a little description for people about what these are and why they're good.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know how that will all work right now. Our old communications specialist has found another job. So she was handling all that computer stuff. So she hasn't been replaced yet, but I'm sure she will be shortly. So we'll have to work through all that.
Well, if you think 150 is the right number, and you're not concerned about over-ordering and having, too many left over, then I'd say go for it. And,
Yeah, okay.
and better to have them. Certainly this summer was a year we could have used a lot of these
So-
bags.
And I will look, if you're interested, so they do make the donuts for the evergreens. Should I look into getting 50 donuts for those too? They're a little more cumbersome, they're not as easy. The ones we've used in the past, you have to pound wood stakes in to hold them up, but they do work.
Would you be concerned that having an evergreen watering bag would encourage people to overwater their evergreens?
Possibly, yes.
Maybe we hold off on the ones for the evergreens.
Okay.
And will people be able to order more than one bag if they want? If we have a couple of young
That's a
trees.
good question, so.
Well, because I'd probably buy 3.
Yeah, and I'd buy 2 at least.
So then I should probably buy more than 150, so I'll shoot for 200 then.
Okay.
Right. Spring planting 2022.
Okay.
Loren, did you have some information on it? Like, so I know it says location, design work, and then the North High update. Do you have some information for us on that?
So, yes, what I need direction on, so my plan is, and I think you guys agreed last time, just want to confirm, replanting some of the plantings in Oakdale Park, in Walton Park, maybe some City Hall where it's a little thin, that kind of a thing. And then the design work, did the tree board want to have any hand in design work, or master gardeners, or should I just take it upon myself to do the design work? I can come up, I haven't yet, but I can come up, pinpoint which plantings I think need it. I can measure them, size, whatever. And it doesn't matter to me. I can do the design work, but if other people want a hand in it, we can work it that way, so.
I think you'd have the best idea of what could and should be done,
Right.
Okay.
Loren. I think that'd be great for you to do.
We
And
have
then-
every confidence.
And then the other thing is Paul Dean. I tried to get in touch with Paul Dean. He's no longer at North High. He retired, so
All right. Good for him.
we're out that, and I haven't pursued anything further yet. But we need to find more volunteers. So if anybody has any contacts at either Tartan or North High, I would certainly enjoy hearing about that. Or if you want to contact them directly and get back to me what you know. Otherwise, so before COVID hit, I can't remember her name, a woman from Tartan reached out to me. She was in charge of the honor students who need some volunteer hours.
Yes.
So I'll send her an email, seeing if that's a possibility. And So, yeah, we'll just keep going from there. Push forward on volunteers. Let me know if you know anything.
Are we, Lauren, are we shooting for like senior high kids then for this?
Yes.
I mean, that's what we had, right? We're like
Yep,
10th or 11th graders?
Exactly, yep.
Okay, because I'm even thinking maybe like Hill Murray, maybe some of the private schools, or I think all the National Honor Society kids have to do volunteer work. So I think, and I'd be glad to make a couple phone calls. Why don't you reach out to this Tartan person and then let me know, and I'll make some phone calls, just cold call the schools.
Okay,
And see if we can't get connected, as long as we have some time.
fabulous.
I would do that in October or November, after school settles in. Okay?
I think that's all I have.
Okay. Marge, you have a farmer's market report for us?
Oh, I do, but I didn't tally my numbers. It was just, I think, last week or the week before, and then I'm doing it again tomorrow. So I have given away a lot of Kentucky coffee tree seeds. We've had last month, or whenever it was, 2 weeks ago, when I was there, many questions about deer. How tall does the fence need to be? That kind of thing. Why doesn't the city or the DNR or somebody do something about the deer? All of that, and I empathize and sympathize, and we just chat about different options. And then I did have a couple follow-ups. I think I might have copied you on one or two of them, Loren, of people who asked me some questions, and I got back to them. So I'm just kind of, and then I'm also asking about tree giveaway, and are they aware of our projects that we do? Any questions? So it's just a good, getting people's face in a nice way about connecting, and it's pretty steady. I'm surprised. I think last week, or whenever I did it, 2 weeks ago, was very quiet compared to the time in July. But 25 people, probably 30 people I talked to. So it's well worth it. And then a lot of people come with really good, interesting questions about their trees, whatever. So I will have at the end, I think I go through mid-October. Is my last one, and then I will do a summary for January of was it worth it? Should we do this again next year? It's just kind of an interesting thing, and I like it. I like to reach out to people, so it's a good way for me to interact. Yeah. And thank you for the tent, by the way. It's very helpful to have a canopy.
Yep, no
So,
problem.
Thank you. You'll get that back at the end of October.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, on to communications and miscellaneous items. Loren, you have an EAB report for us.
Yeah, so this summer, we did our Boulevard EAB treatments again, which are in 2009, maybe. We did an inventory of all boulevard trees to get ready for EAB. We categorized the condition of all the boulevard trees. So to get ready for emerald ash borer, we picked the top third condition class and started treating them. We got a grant at that time from the DNR and removed the bottom third condition class and replanted. And then we were letting the middle third condition class, so basically condition 4 through 6. We were gonna let those die and deal with them as they died. This was to spread out costs, so we weren't overwhelmed with dead ash trees at any one time and not being able to deal with them. They become hazardous within a year of death from emerald ash borer. They get quite hazardous. Large limbs can break off. They become brittle. We're on a 3-year cycle. So we treat a third of that top third of our boulevard trees in any given year. We spend about $5,000 a year treating boulevard ash trees. And then we work with Rainbow Tree Care Company because they give our residents a wonderful discount for treating private trees. And they market it, and we market it as well. And so it just works out, it's kind of a herd immunity thing. Get as many trees out there that are protected as you can, and you're gonna save more trees. So, we treated approximately 70 trees again this summer for $5,000. Oops, I have old data there, I guess. That was 2020. So I don't have the 2021 trees, but I think it was 69 trees if I well, no, 2019, 69. It might have been 68 trees this summer we treated. And it came in just $52 over 5,000 or something like that. And then, yeah, I thought I had this year's data, but for instance, in 2020, the private trees that the public treated in their own yards was 386. There's a lot of townhome associations that are treating some trees. There's the amount of, here's 2020 benefits again. The pounds of atmospheric carbon dioxide avoided because we have saved those trees. These are just the 70 trees, 481,236 pounds, and gallons of stormwater intercepted over 1 million. So anyways, there are tangible benefits for saving trees. Recommend continue strong resident participation. There's still a lot of ash trees that are unprotected out there. We're continuing our program with Rainbow Tree Care. They, like I said, they market it. They send out a postcard to almost every home in the city every year. So, and that is gaining traction. We're getting more and more trees treated all the time. I think that's about it. The other thing is, so I'm currently working with the DNR on trying to get a grant from the DNR to deal with that middle third of our ash trees. It's they have a $100,000 grant program out there. They're giving several $1 million to municipalities to deal with the upcoming emerald ash problem. So, and that's it for the EAB.
Just a quick note on EAB. We are getting to the point in the metro where we're not going to be able to treat very much longer. We're getting to the point where the trees are starting to die pretty rapidly out there based on what I'm seeing. And treatments are only effective while the trees are still viable, and they will reach a point where they're no longer viable. And at that point, they're takedowns. So anybody who is on the fence about treating their ash tree, now is the time to talk to somebody about doing it. We probably can't do it anymore this year. The trees are starting to turn fall color, which means they won't uptake the chemical anymore. But we can probably still treat next year depending on the condition of the tree right now, but that will probably not be the case for many more years.
And for people out there in the public, I do have a list of licensed contractors in Oakdale. They don't all do chemical treatments, but a lot of them will. And if you contact me, I can get you that list. It's also on the website. And almost every one of them will give you free estimates. And when you do get those estimates, make sure you get one from Rainbow Tree Care, because I'll almost guarantee you they'll be the cheapest, so.
Has the treatment been very effective?
Yes, very
Yes.
effective, and like Chair Cantola said, it is now or never. We have emerald ash borer everywhere in this city now. If you have an ash tree that you want to save, you need to be protecting it now.
And damage from emerald ash borer is a lagging indicator. You don't see it till it's been in the tree for 3 to 5 growing seasons. So by the time you're seeing damage, it's already cumulatively been going on in the tree for years and will get worse before it gets better. So enough with the doom and gloom, I suppose. Buckthorn curbside collection, different kind of doom and gloom.
There you go. So we encourage residents to remove buckthorn. And one of the ways we do that, well, we lend them buckthorn removal wrenches, which basically pulls the root systems out of the ground, so you don't have to use a bunch of chemicals. And, but another way we do it is with a curbside collection every fall. Because we canceled our fall Buckthorn volunteer event, we added another curbside collection date. And that form is on the city website somewhere. If you go to the front page and in the search box type curbside collection, it should come up. If for some reason it doesn't, you can contact me. If you can't find it, contact me at Public Works, Loren Coda, the city forester, phone call or email. I can email you the form, and it's a form that you actually have to check the days you want the curbside collection done. We do it on Tuesdays. Today was the first one. There's 3 more next Tuesday. Actually, the next 3 consecutive Tuesdays. You have to fill out the form, sign your name, pick the dates you want. You can pick all the dates if you want, but turn in, if you pick 4 dates, turn in 4 forms because it makes my life easier. Let's see. I think that's about it. Any questions?
I just would like to know, is this used? I mean, are a lot of people doing this and you're collecting a lot?
Yep, we probably do about 30 to 50 a year.
Oh, quite a bit then. Okay, thank you.
Actually, I have kind of just an odd question perhaps, since I'm probably the least knowledgeable about trees in this group. But I always wonder too is, a lot of people don't know what kind of trees they have. And I've always wondered, well, is there someone in the city or anything they can call to ask to somebody and say, hey, is this a buckthorn or is this an ash tree? That they can get at least a positive identification on a tree, so they know whether to either treat it or that's buckthorn to be removed. And I think I'm not alone in that as far as not knowing necessarily all the trees on my property.
That would be me. And I am more than happy to help. I am often so busy that it takes me a little while to get to your house. Don't hesitate to bug me, because I'm often so busy, it takes me a while to respond or to come visit. You're not irritating me by bugging me once a week. I'll tell you that I'm coming. But yeah, I try to get to people as soon as I can. But yep, that would be me. I will certainly come to your house and look at your trees, tell you what you have, tell you what I think, and tell you to call an arborist.
Hey, this might be another opportunity to just mention our newly installed tree truck out at Oakdale Park Reserve, and buckthorn is in that tree truck. So there is a sign.
Good
If you
point.
pick up a little map at the Discovery Center and take a walk, there's about 50 trees, I think, or so. that are identified at the park reserve, and it's a good way to educate yourself. You can have a nice walk in the park and then look at those trees any time of the year and see if you have one of those in your yard. So that's another option, if Lauren's too busy, at the moment anyway. Thank you.
All right, and then the last thing on the agenda is the Prairie Restoration sign grant.
And this again is just kind of more information, letting you guys know some of the things we do. So I did receive a SHIP grant from the county. It's state funds, the Department of Health, that gets distributed through the county. And so we have $1,000 budget every year to be restoring the meadow back into prairie. It's been getting taken over by tree encroachment and brush encroachment. And we've been working on it a while, and we just need to get some information out there so the public doesn't have so many questions, just some information for the public, walking by what's going on, why are they mowing that, for instance. We tried to burn it once, it didn't have enough fuel load to do anything. But yeah, there's a prairie restoration project going on up in the nature preserve close to the Discovery Center in the great big meadow field that's closest to the Discovery Center. And I got a $10,000 grant to buy some signs, some informative prairie signs. And it's coming together right now. And hopefully within the next month, we'll be purchasing those signs. And if we get time, we'll install them this fall. If we don't get time, they'll be installed next spring after it thaws again. So just an informative, and in the packet, those are the signs that we'll be putting up. And they'll be going in. So on the back side of the prairie, there's a bench where a couple of grass trails come together. There'll be a sign there. Right off the Discovery Center where the paved path tees, there'll be a sign there. And then further to the south where the exercise station is, there'll be a sign there, so. And that's it for that.
Congratulations on getting that money. And
Yeah.
this will be a great add to that area at the park.
Yep, I agree, yep.
Right. I guess I lied. The last thing on the agenda is next agenda meeting items.
Ah, yes. So, yeah, if anybody has any agenda items,
We need to get to the city code thing next
right,
time.
the city code.
And then Marge will have a final update for us.
Farmers
on
market.
The farmer's market,
Spring planting,
spring planting, info.
trees,
Yeah,
giveaway.
what trees we're ultimately able to get for the spring. We probably will know that by January, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the progress on renaming for Jane?
The Jane.
Yes. Update on the renaming the spring planting for Jane. Anybody else have anything that they feel strongly needs to be on the agenda next time? Anybody have anything that they feel strongly needs to not be on the agenda next time? All right, well, I think then I would look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And the meeting's adjourned.
Thank
Made
you.
it under an hour.
Yay.